Time Travel Panda, a magical journey. In a beautiful green jungle full of tall trees and fresh air, there lived a cute panda named Piko. Piko was different from other pandas. While others were eating bamboo, playing near the river, or climbing trees, Piko loved to read books and learn new things. One day, Piko was sitting quietly under a tree, wearing his small, round glasses and reading a book. He looked at the jungle and softly said, "I want to explore more. I want to see something new." So, Piko started walking deeper into the jungle. He saw big trees shining in sunlight, birds flying in the sky, and a peaceful river flowing slowly. After walking for some time, Piko reached a strange place. There was an old, broken house covered with vines and surrounded by silence. Suddenly, his animal friends came running. A deer, a monkey, and a small elephant stopped him. They said, "Piko, do not go there. This place is dangerous. Long time ago, a strange scientist lived there." But Piko was curious and a little naughty. He smiled and said, "I just want to see what is inside." Slowly, he walked toward the house and pushed the door open. The door made a loud sound, and darkness filled the room. Inside, there were broken machines, wires, old books, and strange glowing objects. Piko looked around with wide eyes, feeling both excited and curious. Then he saw a special machine glowing with blue light. It looked powerful and magical. Piko slowly moved closer and said, "What is this?" Without thinking too much, he pressed a button. Suddenly, the machine started shaking. Bright light filled the room, and a strong energy surrounded him. Piko felt like he was flying. Everything went dark. When Piko opened his eyes, he was standing in a jungle again. But this jungle looked different. It was more green, more fresh, and full of life. The trees were bigger, the air was cleaner, and the animals looked happier. A baby elephant came near him and said, "Hello, who are you?" Piko smiled and said, "I am Piko. I think I came from the future." The elephant laughed and said, "That sounds funny." Piko looked around and slowly understood that he had traveled to the past. Everything was peaceful, but then Piko saw something wrong. Some humans were cutting trees. Piko felt worried and said, "This is not good." He sat under a tree and started thinking. He imagined a beautiful future where the jungle was green and full of life. Then he imagined a bad future where trees were gone, animals were sad, and the land was dry. Piko stood up and said, "I must do something." He gathered all the animals and made a plan. At night, they created loud sounds and scary shadows. The humans became afraid and ran away. The animals were happy, but Piko knew this was not enough. He went back to the machine and pressed the button again. This time, he reached the future. But what he saw made him very sad. The jungle was broken, trees were gone, the river was dirty, and the sky looked gray. Piko walked slowly and met an old turtle. The turtle said, "We did not protect our jungle, and now everything is changing." Piko felt determined and said, "I will fix this." He went back to the past again. This time, he went directly to the humans. He said, "Please stop cutting trees. If you destroy the jungle today, your children will suffer tomorrow." A small boy looked at his father and said, "If the jungle is gone, where will the animals live?" The father became quiet and started thinking. Slowly, the humans understood their mistake. They said, "We will protect the jungle and plant new trees." Piko smiled with hope. He used the machine one last time and went to the future again. This time, the jungle was beautiful. Trees were green, the river was clean, birds were flying, and animals were happy. Piko smiled and looked at the sky. He softly said, "Even a small action can change the future." From that day, Piko became a hero. He continued to protect the jungle and inspired others to care for nature. Save the nature. Adish Kid Stories. Like, share, subscribe.